Hello fascia lovers! Did you know that fascia, the connective tissue inside of us, can actually keep our pain alive? Hi, I'm Kasia. I'm an inventor of Physio by K. I help patients and therapists to better understand the human body and the chronic pain. Today I would like to present you a case report. I would like to talk about chronic neck pain because I think it's something unfortunately very common in our clinical practice and generally in life. Let's dive straight into. A female in her 30s comes with chronic neck pain lasting since 5 years. The painful movement is mostly neck bending to the left and looking over the left shoulder. The pain is on the right side, as I said, since 5 years. There was no real onset of the pain. The patient cannot remember any trauma. It just appeared one day, then there was nothing, then again it happened, and over the time it was gradually getting worse and worse. There are no patterns that are increasing the pain, decreasing the pain. Definitely the time of cool down, let's say it like that, helps with the level of the pain. And she noticed that if she has a tough day at work or a tough week generally, or after a heavy workout, definitely the pain in the neck becomes more profound. So, that's the description of the patient. I'm very curious how you would approach this patient. What would you do? What would you suggest? Please feel free to write in the comment. I'm happy to read and hear your thoughts. For me, I wouldn't treat it as a local neck pain because the patient mentioned something really very, very important. She said that there was no real onset of the pain. She can't remember any trauma. By trauma, I understand a whiplash in a car accident or falling down the stairs, concussion, or a surgery in the area of the neck, or any immobilization of the neck. But there was nothing like that. So for me, it means that there is something else that compensates in the neck. So the origin of the issue is somewhere else. Let's analyze what she said after that. She said that the pain becomes worse after a heavy day at work or a heavy workout. So naturally, I will interrogate and ask what is her function, how her work looks, what does she do as an activity. The patient is a manual therapist, she works mostly with her hands, and she is also a rock climber. She does bouldering, again a huge overuse in the hands, in the forearms, in the shoulders. Okay, so we're getting somewhere, but still in those pieces of information there is no actual trauma that could have led to the densification and compensation in the area of the neck. So I asked her if she ever went through a fracture in the area of the upper limbs or any injury, any surgery. Yes, as a child and later as a teen, she had 3 fractures of the wrists, 2 times on the right side, 1 time on the left side. So of course her arms were immobilized in a cast. For me, that's already a big piece of information, because most likely, again, I highlight in here that this is just a hypothesis. Most likely, the problem in the neck comes from the tension, rigidity, and stiffness in her hands, wrists, elbows, somewhere in there. Now, let's change a little bit and talk about the theoretical aspect of the fascia, because maybe many of you are not that familiar with the fascia. I'm gonna quote in here definition of fascia from 2014. It's an official definition. Fascia is a body-wide, three-dimensional network of connective tissue that surrounds, connects, and integrates muscles, joints, organs, and nerves into one functional system. It forms a continuous network throughout the entire body, helping distribute tension, coordinate movement, and support communication between different tissues. As mentioned in the definition, we have different types of fascia. We have visceral fascia, we have nerve fascia, muscular fascia, and we have also superficial fascia that is just under the skin. And although all of those fascia have different properties and different function, they all work together to allow our body to perceive the external world and work accordingly internally, and the most importantly, ergonomically. What can lead to densification or stiffness, restriction? There are some factors. Most commonly, we determine 4 factors. So the first factor is a long period of immobilization. So for example, wearing a cast, just like our patient from a second ago, wearing 3 times a cast in the area of the wrist, elbow, because yes, the cast helps the bones to heal properly by giving them the immobilization, but at the same time it really affects the fascia, creating a lot of stiffness and rigidity that stays there for a long time unless worked on manually. The second factor is an overuse. Again, let's come back to our patient. The patient is working manually. All the sports that she has been doing for the past years has been connected with the wrist, with the movement of the upper limbs. So we have definitely a lot of overuse, and she has also mentioned that when she is working hard at the office or when she's working out a lot at the gym, definitely her neck pain becomes worse. The third thing is a trauma. The trauma can be an injury, a significant injury, can be a fracture, can be a surgery. So in this case, we had 3 fractures. And the fourth factor is an infection, inflammation, but that one we will talk about later on in another podcast. So as you can see, this female, this patient, had 3 factors that could impact her fascia in the segment of the wrist. Just in the segment of the wrist, or let's even think more widely about the whole upper arm, there were 3 factors out of the 4 mostly recognized that have impacted or that could have impacted the way the fascia is functioning. Now in the corner you can see a video that I have also recorded. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt that is symbolizing fascia. When I'm trying to move my arm forward or above my head, you can see that the fascia adapts, the sleeve moves. But if I now put a rigidity, a stiffness around the wrist that has been created there due to the fracture, when I try to do the same movement, so reach forward or reach above my head, you can actually see that the fascia is not working properly. It's not sliding, it's not adapting. And you can see lines of tension going all around the upper limb, from the wrist, over the elbow, over the shoulder, all the way to the neck. I'm sorry, right now one of my lights decided to give up, so I'm gonna be working with just one light. Back to the video, I'm sorry for that technical pause. So, as you could see on the video, the sleeve was adapting when it was working properly, where there was no densification. It was adapting to the movement. The second we blocked this movement, there were lines of tension that were going all the way from the wrist towards the neck, towards the head. So this is the visual help to better understand how important is the fascia, how important is the connection of the fascia in our body, especially when we talk about chronic pain. Now, what can we do as physiotherapists to help those patients to maybe better understand? First of all, we need to listen to the patient. We need to listen to the history of the patient, and based on that history, just like I was catching those little words, we have to adapt the questions that we're asking so we can find the origin of the issue. Later on, the most important aspect is the palpation of the fascia, is the palpation of the tissues. So once we have an idea where the problem can be, we should check what is the consistency of the fascia in that segment and maybe find a densification or a rigidity that is leading to the neck pain. If you would have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Feel free to write them down in the comment. If you like that video, please subscribe to the channel or give me a like. If you would like to dive deeper into the subject of fascia, I would like to invite you to my social media or to my website. The links are in the description below the video. And for now, I wish you a lovely day. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you with the next one. Bye guys.